Shwmai Croeso, hello and welcome to episode 55 of the Bluebirds Nest. Somebody I work very closely with joining me this week, a man who has sat on the board at Haverfordwest County for a few years now with the title of Creative Director. It's Mr. Ben Tyler. Welcome to the Nest.
Cheers, Roy. Thanks for having me on. It's about time.
You're a man who tends to stay in the shadows, but so much so that other Cymru Premier clubs weren't even aware that you were our creative director for such a long time. But you do lead on all the creatives that the club develop. You've worked closely with Tom Pritchard, our social media manager, and myself for the last few years now. I've got to say at this point, you've been so good for me over the last, 2 seasons in particular with the production of the documentary. Those late nights that I'd be pestering you saying, what do you think of this? And getting your feedback. So all those midnight oils that we shared together, thank you for all of that. But here we are. Your moment has finally come. You're in the spotlight for once. And I'm sure it is a face to a name for many, no doubt. But similarly to how we start our chats with the players, I want to sort of, how did you get you would be my first question. How did you become the creative director at Haverfordwest County?
So initially I was kind of interested in getting involved with a team in the Cymru leagues in general, my background in design, and sort of curious about how I could explore that more. So I'm from Port Talbot originally, and obviously an avid viewer of the Cymru leagues from that. So I was just scrolling through LinkedIn and then saw a post by Rob asking for, I guess, volunteers for the board. And then I just kind of inquired and said, this is my expertise. These are what sort of values I could add and help with. And yeah, I guess it kind of went from there then.
Amazing. I love that. I knew half of that story, but I didn't realize quite it was the LinkedIn approach. But yeah, it's worked. And obviously many others have followed suit and joined the board over the last few years to make it what it is today. You mentioned there your creative background. You do have a full-time job alongside all of this commitment to the club. You've shared images in the past with me, incredible places that you've worked. You know, the creative stuff with Formula One is a standout in my mind. And I remember very early on, you were doing some work at Wimbledon, the tennis competition, obviously not the football club then. A few years ago, you said, I'm really busy at Wimbledon. I'll get back to you in a while. It was, what does a sort of typical day look like for you then in your line of work in the full time?
So at the moment, I'm working for myself. I've got my own sort of company that I work for, 65 Design. So through that, I kind of reach out to mainly sports brands or people involved in sports. And then I guess, I'll do sort of bespoke one-off projects for them, or branding projects, marketing projects, and things like that. So I originally started off in sports, working full-time for Chelsea Football Club. So that was more marketing side, doing sort of stadium branding, the health club, the hospitality sort of section. So a lot of different stakeholders there. And then from that went to Fulham Football Club. So that was more sort of commercial side. So I got a bit of insight about how the commercial machine works in the Premier League. So that was a good insight. From there went to Wimbledon tennis, as you said. And again, that was sort of marketing the championships for the year. So obviously it's like the 2-week period where they try and drive ticket sales and try and get people through the door for hospitality again. And from there I made some sort of contacts in that and decided to go freelance.
Love it. Love it. Well, it sounds like it's a similar career pathway that Martel, Taylor Crossdale took. You must have crossed paths, perhaps.
Definitely, yeah. I was aware of Martel, actually, yeah. So.
Yeah, okay, interesting. Let's talk football. And so we've done so much over the last few years. Upon, preparing for this chat, I look back fondly at some of the things, between yourself, Tom, who I said, runs our social media channels, and we've got quite a wide range of skills, I think, that have allowed us to really develop the digital presence of the club online. We've been busy. We're always snowballing ideas between us. Like I said, it's always late night WhatsApp conversations that sort of an idea comes to somebody's mind, and 10 minutes later, it's 10 times bigger, which is what, I really enjoy about it, to be honest. And you know, we've been trying to raise the bar across the Cymru leagues and really set the tone of things. And what's been a highlight for you then? You know, a campaign or an idea that we've done. What stands out over those over the period you've been at the club?
I guess when I first joined, it was a bit. What's interesting is that it's a bit of a blank canvas. There wasn't sort of really like a brand sort of structure in place. There wasn't sort of elements that could sort of tie fans to sort of the website, to social media. So it was kind of bringing all that together with sort of having like the correct sort of blue for Haverfordwest. So we'd use the same blue through social media, the Nest, the website, and I guess it's the user journey as well through that. So it's kind of bringing everything together, and then also working collaboratively with yourself and Tom and the rest of the team about bringing ideas to life.
Love it, love it. And well, it's what we come to today, this lovely blue overlay around us on the screen here that you really kindly designed to me, because fonts are not my thing, are they, Ben? When it comes to the ideas come into life and they go out, what do you look for? How do you sort of measure the success of something then on a creative and that we deliver from the club?
It's all about engagement. You want to kind of encourage fans to watch or interact with something that we do, and it kind of, I guess it brings them closer to the club. So you kind of want people to engage with everything that we do. And also for them to come back and feedback with ideas on what we do as well is always good. So I suppose looking at what the big leagues do, so you look at like the Premier League, the NFL, Formula One, and it's trying to take ideas from that and kind of utilizing them in Haverfordwest or the Cymru League in general. So
yeah, we've put a lot of strategies and ideas in place to, like you said, engage new and old fans, I think. And as you said there, as part of the wider team, I think we have created a real sense of branding and as much community around the club over the last few years. I think just this week on Twitter, I think it is unofficial, but there was an account that put the top 10 most supported clubs in Wales, the data together, and there we were in 8th place overall, which, you know, you had Swansea, Wrexham, Cardiff, Newport. We were in 8th overall. I think that's a credit to the work that everybody at the club have been doing and the fans' interactions and engagement with that, you know. But I think we're the 3rd highest from the Cymru Premier. I think obviously Colwyn Bay traditionally have had big numbers supporting, and Carnarvon as well, who are just above us. We've certainly made huge strides in that. That must be encouraging, you know, from yourself and the board as well to see.
Yeah. Oh, it's incredible. Yeah. Like the fans are really good for what we're doing. They're really buying into Tony and the team, what's on the pitch, and also the content that we're putting out, the website and everything. All that falls into sort of one sort of family, I guess, that people can really interact with. And again, it is creating this sort of community where people can come to the games and they can interact directly with ourselves or even the players. There is that sort of link there, and yeah, I think it's really good, and it's only growing as well. So it's great.
Yeah, you're really good with the data. You're tracking sort of the increase almost game by game.
Yeah.
You know,
love a stat.
You do love a stat.
Yeah. I've already tracked the past 2 seasons to see how much we're growing through attendances and just the social media channels as well. So the European campaign really helped boost our socials up a bit, which was really promising.
Yeah, definitely. That got a lot of new followers from far and wide. I mentioned to you pre-recording at Pontypridd last week, there was 2 chaps walking around in their navy, Macron, athletic European shirts. And I spoke to them. I said, look, you know, where are you from, guys? I haven't seen you following us before. And you have that engagement. They're from Cardiff. And almost they came to that event at the Cardiff City Stadium. I didn't ask which of the games, but they've bought a shirt and they're now sort of long distance supporters or followers of the club and saw we were nearby. And it's really great to see that, you know, not just us, hopefully lots of clubs across Wales are growing. And it's a bit of a contentious one in Wales with the attendance figures. It's always a conversation between different clubs, you know, about, are you sure that's the right attendance figure that you've recorded on the Cymru Football app and things? But I want to talk attendances, but not particularly in Wales. You've recently shifted. You're across the water in Ireland at the moment. In your better half, Avril, I must give a shout out to Avril. I keep distracting you from when I message you late at night. Avril's home nation across in Ireland. You do, to be fair, get back to Pembrokeshire as much as you can, but you've been scoping out some of the League of Ireland grounds and attendances recently. I think we've got the Cymru Premier review incoming hopefully very soon. But what have you seen over there that, you know, they're getting thousands rather than hundreds? What have you seen is the difference?
I think it's awareness in the towns through their broadcast channels as well. So there'd be like billboards and stuff promoting live TV games that are on. There's also like merchandise shops in markets and things like that. So I guess, yeah, I think it's all about awareness, really. So I think if people know there's a game on, they'll come and attend. And yeah, you'll see sort of like the county flags flying around in different towns and stuff. So you know which county you're in just driving through. Like red to green or whatever. So you kind of know everyone's quite proud of the teams that from the county. So I think there's something definitely we can incorporate, being Pembrokeshire. I think that's that motto, playing for Pembrokeshire as well. So we can kind of really play on that. And with the population of like 120,000 in Pembrokeshire, there's a lot of fans that we can tap into there and try and replicate some of that from Ireland to here for sure.
Yeah, fingers crossed, because it is great to see when they've got, you know, sold out stadiums and great atmospheres. It seems it's an ever increasing league over there. But you mentioned fans, then I think it's apt time to say that obviously I think it was about 10 days ago now we've announced the club have appointed 2 fan representatives. Steve Jones and Dan Salmon have come on board as our first ever fan representative. So congratulations to both of them. Developing that communication channel with supporters even further is crucial to everything that we do. I think enabling, you know, frontline views and feedback of the supporters to be heard in meetings and things like that is a really positive one. But in your perspective, then, how do you see that evolving over time now?
Yeah, I guess it's great to have that sort of connection directly to the fans as well, so they can feedback directly with ideas that they have, like the fanzine, for example.
Yep.
Obviously, they've got the drums, the flags around the ground. They're all incredible things for optics on TV or highlights and stuff. It makes it look like a really lively fan engagement and, yeah, great atmosphere at the Meadow. So it all adds to it, and to kind of have those fans a direct sort of link to us, and we can only hope to sort of bring more of that to Haverfordwest.
Yeah, agree. And Steve and Dan, along, I must mention Silas Roberts as well, as many others, to be fair, have put together some great content for the very first issue of West, a fanzine that has been delivered. I believe there's 100 copies have arrived in Pembrokeshire, ready for this week's game to be sold. I was lucky enough to be involved in a few ways, and I've read it cover to cover many times already. I would highly recommend everyone pay the suggested cost of £3. Please do pick one up, as all proceeds from the fanzine it will be donated to Get the Boys a Lift, which is a local Haverfordwest based mental health awareness charity based in the town centre, I believe now. So going back to when you started, Ben, you know, a fanzine, you don't hear of that in many Cymru leagues, certainly, but many clubs probably of our size. And is that something you ever imagined would be done, and our fans get involved and create themselves?
I think it's brilliant. I'd love to encourage that more, for sure. Yeah. I didn't really sort of envisage that when I first started, to be fair. So it's really good that the fans have taken it upon themselves to create the sort of more content for them to enjoy. So yeah, I've read it myself as well, and it's good. It's good insight into the fans and what they get up to, and
yeah,
yeah, it's great. It's
to say the least. I think there's one article, Roland was the author of the article. It was an incredible read, because I knew nothing about an adventure, should we say. I'll let people make the investment a couple of quid to pick up one of the fanzines. But yeah, Roland's article in particular was a real eye-opener. Roland's followed for many years, lives abroad, but still follows attentively. And yeah, that was really interesting. But I think the COVID period has stopped a lot of sort of printed press, like fanzines and programs. not just at our level, but, you know, even higher up. I read the other day, I think Swansea have stopped doing our printed program. It's just all online. And it's always an interesting debate, I think, in footballing circles. Anyway, we used to have a match day program every week. And again, costs and probably the commitment in producing them on a weekly basis, as well as, I suppose, nowadays a real sustainability agenda too from clubs and whatnot. So in your, you know, you live like me, you live and breathe the digital side of stuff. What's your perspective on a printed program?
Yeah, it's a shame they've kind of died out a bit, I suppose. Yeah, it's always nice to sort of collect them from games you visit and have something tangible to read during halftime or pre-kickoff and stuff. So it's nice to have a program for sure. Yeah, and yeah, it's always nice memory to have. Yeah,
you're an avid collector as well. I think you've got a couple of decade old, probably, if not more, Half the West ones, haven't you?
Yeah. So I was looking on eBay to try and find some things to decorate the clubhouse with, and came across loads of old programs from Haverfordwest to try and, as a new fan, try and learn a bit of history about the club, who's played for us, and who's who, basically. Yeah.
I won't ask you to produce the name of the most recent one, because it was the Icelandic European team that nobody can ever pronounce, I think. It's you know, as I said there, it's an evolving area. You know, there's always new trends in the digital areas, you know, innovations across, again, digital sports marketing, I suppose, and branding. It seems every day somebody's doing something new, and TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I know, as I said, yourself, Tom, and I, we do interact as much as possible on WhatsApp, sending different ideas. But, you know, for you working in it full time as the day job almost as well, how do you stay ahead of it all? Are you literally scrolling all day, every day?
Yeah, I guess, like, obviously I follow a lot of crazy people in the industry and on LinkedIn and stuff, and try and digest as much as possible from sort of different teams around different leagues or different sports and things. So it's always good to kind of, just stay on top of it, like educate yourself about what's current trends. So as soon as we see something, we normally pop it in a WhatsApp group and be like, oh yeah, let's just try and do this with the players or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, I guess it is just following like-minded people, really. And as sports fans, you kind of consume a lot of different content from around different genres of sports. So yeah.
Okay.
It's just trying to bring that to the Cymru leagues for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm going to put you on the spot. We've spoken about fan engagement within your area of the club. Is that something that you would welcome? You know, some of our supporters who are sort of on the pulse when it comes to all these trends and that. Is that something you'd welcome for ideas to be sent to you, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. As a sort of community club, we try and be as collaborative as possible. So it's nice to get people in with new ideas for sure, and see if that's something we can incorporate or use in the future. Yeah,
definitely. I've popped your email address just up on the screen there, so you're going to get a flurry coming in into the inbox. It's you know, it is something, like you say, collaborations. I think it's a great way of looking at it. You know, we've done the young chef, young waiter sort of cooking challenge that was a comedic angle, shall we say, to say the least. But you know, we've had Visit Malta recently at the ground doing some film work with obviously Luke and Oscar with their Maltese roots and that. So, you know, it is something that we'd be more than willing to be collaborating on. And I'm thinking perhaps, you know, some of the Pembrokeshire-based collaborations, opportunities, I think. You know, we had the alpaca farm visiting for a game and things like that. Brilliant. So God knows what's going to end up in your inbox now over the
next anything, I think try and get a jacuzzi in there was one idea, wasn't there?
That's been a long time ago, believe it or not. I watched the Scarlets game in a hot tub, and I've always said that professional clubs and, you know, clubs in the Cymru leagues are missing a trick there. And I think a couple of supporters, April Fool's Day was one. I saw Noel Mooney in a hot tub at Jenner Park. I think perhaps we'd be reaching out to a couple of local hot tub suppliers, perhaps when the weather's a bit hotter, maybe.
Definitely,
I'll, you know, as I said there, you are online a lot, but you do attend as many fixtures as you can. I think supporters will now be approaching you to have that face-to-face chat about some of the ideas too. So you won't get a minute's peace the next time you're at the Oggy Bridge now. But I think seamlessly, I'm going to now talk about tomorrow's big match. We welcome Barry Town United this Friday to the Oggy Bridge Meadow, 7:45 p.m. kickoff. The support has been fantastic, as we've mentioned, particularly over the last few weeks. It's been jumping up every week. We're looking to get another bumper crowd, so please do come and join us and cheer on the boys. And it's another massive game. We've obviously got this fixture. Colwyn Bay, then, which was announced this week, is going to be the live Scorio online fixture. Finally, the cameras are coming to the meadow. That's on the 13th, lunchtime kickoff. And then a potential 7th spot decider against Penabont on the 21st, Sunday the 21st, that one's going to be. It's going to be dramatic. It always is, Ben, but how do you think it's going to unfold?
It is hard to say. Like the bottom half of the league is so competitive with all the teams playing for something. No one's confirmed of any sort of spots or anything yet, so everyone is like going to be super competitive, really. So yeah, it's hard to sort of say how it's going to go, but hopefully we do end up in that 7th spot and another chance at Europe. That'd be great.
Yeah, it would be awesome. Thinking back to the adventure we went on last year, talk about it every week. I can't help myself.
Yeah. It's incredible, yeah.
You know, I flash back to you and I hugging in Cardiff, Matt, initially in the playoffs, jumping deliriously. Then obviously at the playoff final, when I think I threw my camera at you and ran on the pitch that day. And
best footballing memories for sure.
It was some fun times, but yeah, fingers crossed it's us. But yeah, whoever it is representing Wales, I think it's and I in the article that I wrote in the fanzine, I mentioned that, you know, this year with the coefficient and things, I'll even go as far as to say I'll be supporting TNS and all the other clubs. Connors Keeve obviously qualified now. I think it's a case of Wales have got to get behind them this summer and really back the domestic teams playing in from the leagues across Europe for the good of that 4th spot in Europe going forward. But yeah, like I said in January, I think Waggy came on after Christmas, and I said I think we're going to strap ourselves in for a bumpy ride, and it certainly has been up until now. But 3 games to go, fingers crossed for a few extra games after those 3 at least. But it's been awesome. Thank you for finally coming on the net to join me. It's been really insightful. Appreciate it. And like I said, hopefully that inbox gets flooded with all the ideas now. But yeah, I'll look forward to seeing you at the Meadow very soon.
Cheers, Ryan. Thank you.